if it backs up 1 gallon, it reads 999. So when it reads 999, it tells that computer system to charge you an extra 50 dollars.
Hey, checking out these women like that. Very nice.
Irrigation, if you're not using it, you may need it right next to it. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's turned off, which in yours hasn't been at times, and sometimes, then your main meter, when it's running, it's gonna take you some water through that other meter. Good. Well, for to back up and register 3 nines or 4 nines, you had to have backflow a gallon of water. That's all it would do. So at some point, it backflowed a little bit of water and it triggered that code. But Charlie, wherever he's at, we're investigating on all the irrigation meters, putting a one-way check valve so that can't happen. Okay. So anyway, whenever we figure out what we're going to do, I'll let you know.
If we could call our meeting to order, I believe it is 7 o'clock. If we could, I'd like to ask Mr. George Wright to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance and Mr. Ronnie Adams to lead us in our invocation.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing this group to come together to carry on the business of the city. Pray that you'll be with some of them that are not able to be around us. Betty Landry has awful bad sickness. We'll pray for her. Thank you for this time together, and we ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
On that pledge of allegiance to the American flag, I noticed that a lot of people say it 2 different ways, and I've been saying it wrong the whole time. And it's one state under God, not one nation under God, not one nation and then a comma, and then under God. Everybody, all the time I grew up, I said one nation, Paul, under God. And she was saying it, one nation under God, and then I got to looking, I said, well, it is one nation.
That's the way I see it.
Vacation Bible
Straight
School.
through. So anyway,
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting us. We've got to learn this Texas thing, so we'll try to get that one right now.
I couldn't believe it.
Let's get to Texas one time.
Yeah, maybe we need to all go back to Vacation Bible School. Okay, thank you. Our roll call show all present except Mr. Pettis. Is there any conflict of interest statements necessary tonight? Okay, we did have a citizen comment, but do you want to postpone that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. The next is the Neighborhood Watch Report. Do we have one?
Yes.
Okay.
We had 5 traffic offenses, 1 four-wheeler traffic offense, 7 alarms, 1 suspicious activity, 1 agency assist, 6 assist with EMS, 1 house fire on Tolliver Road, 2 warrant arrests, 1 disturbance dispute, 1 injured animal, a deer was struck by a vehicle, 1 abandoned vehicle, 1 debris of road hazard, 1 harassment by communication, 1 deceased person, 1 burglary of a building, and 1 citizen assist.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, our next item is our consent items that are all in your packet, and you've all had time to look at those. And so, do I hear a motion to approve the consent items?
I'll make it.
Okay, do I hear a second? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Okay, any opposed? Motion carried. Alrighty, our action items, our first one is, consideration review of the proposed dumpster storage ordinance. And it's in here, and I don't think that we, have any intention of actually approving it tonight, because nobody has, we really haven't had time to study it for a long time, and actually, the people haven't had a chance to look at it either. So I think we just want to get it out here tonight, and I think Kim has already put it out on the website.
Yes, ma'am.
And where everybody can have a chance to look at it and see what they think about it, see if it covers all the issues that we've heard, that we have with it, and hopefully we have covered the various situations that might come up, because we do know that there are times when people are building that they actually need one during the time that they're under construction. Sometimes they need a temporary one if they are moving and need to clean house or whatever, so we try to look at all the situations where one would be needed and allowed for that. So anyway, it's there, and it's also available to the public to look at, and if you don't have access to a computer to where you can get it from there, Kim will be happy to give you a copy at the city office. So between now and our next meeting, hopefully everybody have a chance to look at it and see what they think about it, and maybe if you have any input or feedback or questions or comments, if you would get them to Kim, we'd appreciate it if you'd do that, and that way she can take those comments and run them past the attorney if it's one that needs attorney to look at, and at least just kind of know if we're way out in left field or if we're pretty close on to what you want to see happen, or just kind of where we are with that.
Any of the dates, like the 30 days, the 60 days, et cetera, that would start from the date that this ordinance is passed, correct?
That's my understanding.
So, okay, so then they would be, I would like to identify a period of time. We're gonna need to give them a week or two to come in and get their permit, and then I guess it would start from the date of the permit.
Right,
So, there'll be
if
a
they
grace
needed it-
period for a certain amount of
Well,
time
if
for
they
them to come
needed
in
a
and get the permit
permit,
if they
the
already have
permit
one.
would start, like if you came, I think that most of it is tied to, like the construction one is tied to the building permit. So if you came in to get a building permit, obviously you would know you needed one, so it would go, I believe it reads that it would go the distance of the building permit, and then a couple of weeks or so afterwards, because there's usually a cleanup time, give you time to get everything really cleaned up and get rid of it.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna go back retroactively.
There's not gonna be any dumpsters out here if we put this in that. There won't be a dumpster.
Why do you say that?
Well, in here, Drew wrote this.
No, Kim actually, pretty much wrote it.
It says if there's any corrosion at all on that thing, it's out of violation. It says it's gotta be painted. Who's gonna paint them?
That's on the commercial.
Yeah,
Well,
That was
all
on
of
the
them are-
commercial.
All of them that they deliver are commercial.
okay.
There's this is for a commercial building, so for example, Dollar General, the folks up at Botros, or the folks, this is for a commercial, for commercial use, not residential use. There's a difference. The commercial dumpsters is for a commercial entity that is a business, not personal residential use.
Well, I don't think they're very well divided up between commercial and residential.
Well, actually, let's just take them and, we're not gonna
Yeah,
decide on
yeah.
this tonight.
I didn't know.
Just take it and look at it, and like I said, everybody has time to jot down their concerns, and, I really appreciate it if you would take them to Kim, let her go over with you what, the intent was, and let's try to thrash out as much of it as we can before we come back to the next meeting. And maybe come back with, if we need to, a revised version. And,
Yeah, with that being said, if you're talking about a Botros trash can, right? For a
They're a
dumpster.
big dumpster that they come.
Yeah, they come and pick up. Okay, well, it doesn't really.
Most
Well,
of those are kept behind a fence and
that's
locked
true.
anyway to keep residents from dumping trash in them, so.
And I can
it's,
understand that they have to be covered and they have to be locked and they
Yeah,
have
so
to
the
be
whole painted and
no
free, you
drain
have to see it.
and all, and
Yeah.
all this other stuff.
And I think that's addressed in here, isn't it, Kim? Yeah, that's a separate issue. Right.
Mayor,
Mhm.
I'd like to elaborate a little bit on how all this came about.
Okay.
You know, Kimberly went out and looked at several other communities' ordinances on this. She picked what she thought best fit our situation, wrote it up. The mayor and I looked at it with her. We changed some things that we thought would better suit our needs for our small community than what people like, say, Beaumont or larger cities would have. And with regard to your question about the paint, you have to put something in there to keep them from bringing just a bunch of rusty, old, trashy dumpsters in here, because you'd be surprised how many of these people, the dumpster folks, that have them, but they don't bring them into cities. You know, if you've got a demolition project going on out in the woods, they'll bring you those trashy ones. Now, you know, that's not gonna say, we're not gonna have a rust inspector go out and see if they're completely painted. That's not the intent of that section, is to make sure that they bring us a relatively decent looking dumpster. You know, every one of them's gonna have some rust on them. They're not gonna look like this wall here. That's not the intent.
The condition or the looks of the dumpster for residential purposes is not addressed at all. Under the residential part. It just needs to be clean
It
and
looks like
free.
it's all under
It
the
needs to
same
be
thing.
maintained and clean and free from offensive odors, and that's pretty much it. So whatever they bring in for commercial use, whatever they bring in while you're doing the clean out or anything like that is what it's gonna be. And we're not dictating
Well,
that it has to look a certain way.
why don't we have a residential
Only for-
section here?
Only for the commercial are we saying we want it to look decent, because it's there
It's gonna be there
all the
forever.
time.
Yeah, it's gonna be there all the time. This is gonna be temporary. Well, you know, you've got a construction site, it's not gonna be pretty anyway.
No,
So-
so those,
That's not as big a deal as if it's
it's
at
temporary, it doesn't matter.
there that you're gonna have to drive by and look at it every day of your life.
Okay.
Okay, here, yeah, section 5 is for resident, there it is up there. Hell, I was having trouble finding it too.
Well,
And I had to read through both a couple times to make sure it was
yeah, I
clear
mean, they
which
don't,
was which.
and I didn't get mine early enough to read it.
Well, and that's the point, you know, everybody needs time to really look at it and think about it, you know, and where it applies, because, you know, our situation out here is different than it is in Beaumont or some other places where we've got all kinds of zoning and everything else that we don't have out here. But, you know, if we need rules, then we need rules, so. And obviously we do, because we've
Well,
heard.
that's just
citizen
a
complaints.
general overview of why this was done. And
It seems pretty comprehensive and like it covers most of the bases and gives plenty of leeway for projects and cleanouts and construction and things like that while keeping some guidelines in place, so.
Well, and
Yeah.
It's just a starting point to look at. You know, that's what this is, a starting point to look at. Read it closely, think about it, and whatever questions that you or your constituents may have, we'll look at it. And like the mayor says, it'd be best if you could bring those things to Kimberly ahead of the next meeting, so we could either jot them down and include them in here, word them, whatever, and
Well,
then
it'll give her
have
time to
something
re-
closer to what we think we
Yeah.
want to look at next time.
And it'll give her time to research whatever your ideas are.
Right.
And to make sure that, you know, that would work.
Now, right here, at the very end of this thing, it says that the only exception to this section is in the event of construction or remodeling in which the storage container will be permitted to be there at the same length of time as a construction permit.
That's like a pod.
Yeah.
That's a
Like
pod,
a pod.
a storage container.
Okay.
Like the pod or one of
Yeah.
those things so that you would load up and keep
See,
everything in
we
for
Yeah, you
provide
gotta take-
storage containers, residential
Okay,
dumpsters. and
I'll have to do
Yeah,
that.
because
Yeah.
we're trying to think of every situation, like if
It covers-
you might need to take all your furniture.
Yeah,
out
that's
or
under
something.
storage
Yeah.
container.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty
It's under-
comprehensive.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Well, anyway, like I said, it's out there for anyone that wants to read it. If you can't get it on, if you don't have a computer, or just Kim will be glad to give you a copy, and so everybody can look at it and put in your 2 cents worth. And we'll bring it back and look at it again. Okay, so let's move on to our next item, which is a pretty generic thing we have to do every year, which is approving the resolution of the 2015 Certified Tax Roll Summary. And that says pursuant to the Texas Property Tax Code, Section 26.09, this certified tax roll summary should be approved by your council at the next council meeting. After the approval, you have to return it to the tax office. And the resolution says, be it resolved pursuant to the Texas Property Tax Code, Section 26.09, that the City Council of the City of Bell Oaks hereby approves the 2015 tax roll this 19th day of November 2015. And you can see that this is the, shows that we have a total number of parcels, 707, and the market value is $72,956,813. The total assessed value is $72,857,881. The partial exempt values is $15,145,525, which leaves a taxable value of $52,268,605, and the total levy amount is $123,021.51, which is right, pretty close in line to what we had approved earlier. So that pretty much covers it. So that is what we approved, and so with that said, do I hear motion to approve this resolution to approve the certified tax roll?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
No, second.
Okay, any discussion on that? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we're down now to the consideration of possible action on a proposed pond washdown system for the raw water holding pond, and I would like to defer that to Mayor Pro Tem Pruitt and let him and our engineer discuss it.
I think Toby's just gonna
Okay.
start off with
Okay.
this.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I passed out a little packet to you to open that and see what we're talking about. In our original project, we had provided some water lines out around the pond with a couple spigots for future wash down after the pond is used or after we really didn't, with the idea that you would have to have some type of a hose to get down in there to wash it out. In meeting with Danny and with Charlie, the operator, we've come up with an idea I want to present to you and get your thoughts on. If you'll open the drawing that I provided to you, basically the drawing shows the pond, shows the plant, it shows the existing, or the proposed rock road will be coming off over towards the pond. We're looking at the idea of constructing a little bit different configuration of a water system around the edge of the pond, and bringing a couple of spigots down to the concrete level, down into the pond, and purchasing basically a hose reel. If you look at the picture after that map that I provided to you, those pictures are showing a hose reel that actually was taken, I think, in the back of the fire truck that you have here in town. Purchasing a hose reel similar to this, but not quite as fancy, but a hose reel, and if you keep looking through the pictures, probably about 150 foot of 1 inch hose, a nozzle, and mount that reel on the back of a cart that could be pulled down into the pond. We're looking at building a concrete ramp down one side of the pond, pull it down into the pond. You'd be able to would have two spigots at different corners of the pond. You'd be able to pull the cart over, connect it to the spigots that are down there, get your water service, and then from there, the operators would be able to just wash the pond down by walking around with the hose. And using this type of reel, it actually has the capability, it's got an electric motor on it, they can reel it back up, just using deep cycle batteries. We've looked at two different options on this, and the first option on the drawing that you're showing just shows what's coming directly off of the distribution system and using distribution system pressure. You notice there right before you get to the pond, it shows a proposed 2-inch RPZ. And looking at your water system and doing some real rough modeling from your water plant out to here, it looks like you probably have enough pressure to get 25 to 30 or 35 gallons a minute out of the end of a hose that would provide, I think, probably enough to be able to walk around and wash this pond down. Those are some real rough numbers. If for some reason it turns out you don't have enough pressure, because a lot of times it depends on the time of day you're doing it, but most times they're probably not going to be doing this whenever during a peak period where everybody's in the mornings or in the evening, they'd be doing it during the day, so it's really an off-peak period. If it turns out later on that if it turns out, if we were to build this is the cheapest option. If we were to build this, and it turns out soon after that there's not enough pressure, the second option, the other option is instead of that RPZ, that we would install a small tank, about 1,000 gallons, a pump, and we would take system water off the system, dump it into the tank. We use the pump to actually pressure it up. And at that point, we'll be using the same distribution system down in the pond and get 40, 50, 60 gallons a minute at a little bit higher pressure. And I know we can make it work that way. I think this way we can make it work, and you won't have to spend the money on the tank and the pump. And I'll show you some prices here in just a minute. So, are there any questions? I know I'll throw a lot at you real quick before I show you some prices.
Talking about 1-inch hose,
Yeah, the 1-inch rubber hose.
and now I've got 3/4-inch hose, probably 500 feet of it at my house, and I don't have an electric roller upper. I mean, do we need an electric roller upper?
You wanna handle 1-inch rubber hose?
I handle
I'm telling you, you get
2.5,
100
man, 15 years.
No, 100 foot.
I mean, we used to roll all those things up, fire hose.
It's not that much difference in the price.
You're gonna have
When you
one
buy-
day.
When you buy the reel, it's an option for another $200 or $300 to have the electric motor on there. It's no big deal in the scheme of things.
Well, I mean, you gotta have batteries, over the
Couple
years.
batteries.
Which leads to my question, which is, do we have room in contingency part of the budget to accommodate?
Well, let me show you
What we're looking
the cost estimate information I have, and I'll go answer that better. Okay, the first item is anticipated savings from the project. If we do this water system configuration, we're actually gonna change up a little bit of what we already had in the project. So, there was about $13,000 they had in the bid item for water system, for water pipes and water lines out there. We'll still need to do a little bit of it, because we have a water spigot over at the pump station. But I think that we'll probably save about $10,000 by not having to do this instead. We've got some other possible savings from other various bid items. The Target pipeline, when we bored that, it came in a little bit, not quite as long. We didn't have to do quite as much. We've got a few supplemental bid items like stabilized sand, a few other things we put in there in case you need them that we haven't had to use. And then looks like we're probably not going to need to do that drainage structure. It was about $9,000 on the backside of the pond. So that's all going to add up to about $18,600. So basically, I think we're going to have about $28,000, maybe $29,000 in savings. Okay. So the first system is the wash system using the distribution system pressure. And these prices, I got a price of about $39,000 now. This is a rough cost because we had to get these from the contractor pretty quickly. It includes contractor costs, it includes the city purchasing the reel and the cart and those types of things, and probably the operator putting it together. It includes a little bit of engineering. So I think we still need to firm these up with the contractor, but I think so this is a rough cost. So if you look at that, you're at 39. If you take 28, you're probably looking at an extra $10,000, $11,000, something along those lines. If we do the same system, but we use the pump in the tank, instead of 39, you're looking at about 46. So that additional cost would be 17. The answer to your question is yes, you do have money in contingencies in the funds for these additional costs we're talking about here. Now, what I think I would suggest, if you wanted to pursue one of these, is that the council authorize us at one of these amounts, and I suggest we do the smaller one, and let's see if that's enough pressure. And maybe not the 10,000, maybe we go 15,000, up to 15,000, and give us the leeway to go give the contractor and get harder numbers. And we got a few more details, because if you say go on this, then we're going to finalize a few details, get with the contractor, get hard numbers, As long as it's within that ceiling you give us, we'll go forward with it. Otherwise, we're gonna wait till the next meeting and come back to you. We can do that, but they'll probably be back out there working with the lift station, probably right before the next meeting, and so they can go ahead and get it rolling, so. That's at the pleasure of the council. If you wanna wait and you say, go get the hard numbers from these guys, we can do that. We just didn't have time to get all that before.
How many square feet are approximately or around the concrete part that we're proposing to spend $39,000 on to be able to wash down? How many square feet are around that are gonna be grass that'll never be washed down? I mean, I'm trying to figure out why we need to spend 40 grand to wash down a concrete slab when all we gotta do is run a pipe out there. Mr. Fruge has said before in the meetings that maybe 5 or 6 times a year that pond will have water in it, okay? And we're gonna spend 40 grand, we're even gonna have, you know, well, let me get into that. But we're gonna spend 40 grand on a system to put out there to wash it down, and all you gotta do is have some spigots down there and some water hoses and wash it. I wash my driveway down all the time, and my driveway's as big as one side of that, all my concrete's as big as one side of that concrete slab. It's 150 by 150 people, that's how big it is,
Roughly, that's right.
roughly.
But it's
I mean,
not gonna
that-
be
that-
We're gonna
That's
spend
a- that's a-
$40,000 to wash it off, 5 times a year.
That's a very big area, and if you don't think so, go out there and stand on top and look down there. Now, keep in mind, we don't know how much settlement's gonna be on the bottom of it. We don't wanna pay a man at $55 an hour to stand out there with a 3/4 inch water hose and spend a day and a half washing it down with all these spigots.
I don't think you don't pay the guys that mow the grass $55.
That's what our utility operators cost, and if that's who we get to do it, that's
Well,
what.
why would we pay somebody $55 an hour to wash down a concrete slab?
But
No idea
he
why.
said it's not gonna be 39,000, it's going to be 39,000
Miss Adams,
minus that.
he's saying that he saved $28,000 off this project.
He
That's
said, he said probable.
Huh? The
But-
probable savings is $18,600.
Yes.
That savings can go back into the fund, okay? And you don't have to spend it just because you got it. Just
No.
because you have a balance in your checkbook doesn't mean you gotta
But
spend it.
didn't we figure more money in for this project than what really we were gonna need?
Well, we spend a lot of extra money on that concrete that we put.
We've got $205,000.
I have a question.
We have $205,000 in contingency that we've not spent a penny of, in addition to this $28,000. So,
I have a
the
question.
whole idea, excuse me, I'm sorry, the whole idea of concreting the bottom of this pond was to be able to wash it down
Yes.
and keep it clean. Now, if we're not gonna provide some basis to do that, then we haven't really accomplished what we spent $175,000 to do. The whole idea was to be able to wash it down. And for an extra $10,000, or if this doesn't work and we have to use a pressurized system for an extra $17,000, I don't know, but
Well,
it
I
seems
think we
common
should do
sense
it
to me to
myself.
go ahead and do it, since that was the purpose of concrete.
Please don't disguise that and say it's an extra 10,000 and an extra 17. It's an extra 10,000, of course, yes, but actually 28,000. Okay, it's not an extra 10.
Here's my.
You're including that 18,000 savings.
Let Michelle,
28,000.
let Michelle speak.
I
She's
have a
coming.
concern. I mean, I'm all about saving money and going the cheapest route, and anytime we can that will work. The least expensive way that will work. But, so you're talking about going down there with a hose and a spigot. The other option we talked about is rolling hose, a larger hose on a roller that we would roll to basically attach it to some kind of a spigot somewhere, then it's gonna hook. But we don't even know if we're gonna have enough water pressure. We think we are. I'm pretty sure we are. But we don't even know if we're gonna have enough water pressure. If we install all of this, get the hose, put in the spigots, whatever size hose it is, and however that system is set up, because I don't care right now. I'm more concerned about this. If we don't have enough water pressure and those don't work, is it an additional $46,000 to go to the pump and
No.
tank?
No.
Or is it just a little bit more, so we can try
Do
these
about the
first?
difference.
Okay, so we can try these first,
Right.
and then, you know what, if it doesn't work, we can
That's the
step it
whole
up.
idea of doing this in
Okay.
phases, is to
Okay.
try the cheaper method first. If that doesn't work, then it's gonna cost another $8,000 to go the more expensive.
When will we know if it works or not? After
After
we
a
use
couple
it the first
rains,
time?
after a
Okay.
couple big rains that put water in the pond and it drains out.
So, if we put spigots in there, and Bud, you wanna go try it with your 3/4 inch hose and hose it down,
Hey,
We
there's
can
not,
see if that
I,
works the
I
first time.
contend that a lot of that sewer is gonna be, there's not gonna be tuba floors, there's not gonna be buckets,
and
there's
there
not
may,
gonna be
there
a
may not be,
county.
it just has, but
Well,
whatever's in there has to be cleaned off, any sewer that's
Well,
sitting there.
easy now, because none of the other part, the 3/4 of the square footage around there, none of that's gonna be cleaned, Michelle. So don't say that it has to be cleaned off. None of that other stuff's gonna be cleaned off. It's gonna be grass.
Well, what's
They're
gonna
not gonna be
happen over
washing
time is that rainwater's gonna wash it down slowly into,
rainwater.
when we get rain, it's gonna roll down the grass to the concrete,
And it
and it's
won't-
gonna rinse that stuff out of there over time.
And it won't rinse off the concrete? It's not gonna rain
No,
on the
because
concrete?
I think it's gonna rain on the concrete, but I don't think it's gonna wash it off with
It'll
the
wash it
bacteria
out
the way
with
it
rain.
needs to on
It
the
won't
concrete.
because the ditch right next to my house does not wash.
So we
off.
know it needs to be cleaned some way somehow. So what
Hey,
if we
let's
put
spend
spigots?
$40,000.
No, what if we put in the spigots? Try it your, if
I
we
mean,
try it your way and it doesn't work,
First, you're
that means
talking
we step it
about
up to the
only
next level.
running
And if it
plastic
doesn't work, we'll
pipe.
step it up.
It's not a nuclear thing, it's not high pressure gas, it's not anything like that. It is a plastic water line. We're gonna put a T in it according to this diagram here. We're gonna run one around one way, that stuff is free, okay? Plastic pipe's free.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there, I mean, there
You run it
have
around there and
options
you
here.
put 2 hydrants up down there, okay? Put 10 hydrants up down there, still free, okay? Plastic pipe's free, okay? Valves are free. All that stuff costs dollars, pennies, right?
Yeah.
No, it's high. Where are you getting it from? I mean, you can go to Lowe's and get 1 inch schedule 40 PVC pipe for
Okay,
nothing.
let me help you out here. So, we're not gonna run free or cheap pipe. If we have to go to a pressurized system, if this doesn't work, then it'll take a higher pressure pipe. We are going to install that pipe now, in case we have to use the other.
What
Because
pipe
if
are you putting in?
a SDR 17, which is a higher pressure pipe than whatever was spec'd before, so that if we have to use a pressure pump, then that
He
pipe,
said 50 or 60 pounds from his pump,
I don't
pump
care.
tank is what
I'm
he said.
telling you that we're changing the pipe from what was originally spec'd, so that if we have to use a pump, it will be compatible with the pump. And we won't have to come back and redo it. And at the same time,
Hey, that's
we're gonna
fine.
run the electricity out there to the location while we got the whole area tore up before we build a fence, before we build a road, before we plant the thing in grass. We're gonna do everything it takes in case we have to come back later and use the pump. Everything will be there. All we have to do then is add the pump and the tank and whatever it takes to hook it up, and then we're ready to go.
And how big of a tank did you say earlier? 500 gallon or
About
1,000
1,000.
gallon?
About
Okay.
1,000.
And how much pressure did you say that this system would be putting on it with the pump that you're putting on there? How much pressure?
If you wanna get, it turns out that you do it with a distribution system, you get, say, 30 gallons a minute out of there, 25 or 30, that's not enough. The nozzles that we have on it, we found, take anywhere from 45 up to 60 gallons a minute. To get 60 gallons, to get 45 gallons a minute through that pipe and through 150 feet of hose, it's gonna take about 200 PSI.
200 pounds of pressure.
Yeah, at the pump. So
That's why we're buying the
that's
more
why we're
expensive
using
pipe to
higher
start
pressure
with.
pipe.
Hey, it sounds like y'all got it all covered. I've never heard of
That's
it.
why we hired an engineer.
I think
Yeah,
we've got a
200
plan.
pounds of pressure
We
gonna go
can't
to that
plan
pump.
for right now, we can't plan
Fire
for
trucks
today.
run
We
100.
have to plan for 10 years and 20 years down the line. We
Exactly.
don't know what will change in the next 10 or 20 years. We don't wanna do it to suit our needs right now, only to outgrow certain parts of the system in 10 or 20 years. That would be foolish to not do it right the first time.
Hey, we spent $175,000 on concrete. I don't see anything wrong with spending another $40,000. So we're paying somebody $55 an hour to go down there and rinse it off. I think it's a great idea. I'm gonna vote.
Are you
against.
volunteering to go down
I'm
there and
gonna
do it
vote
for
dead.
free? Cause that
I'm not
would
gonna
be
be
so
able to wash
awesome.
off, first of all, he'll see that whenever he gets down there.
So Mayor, with Councilman Marindino's comments, I would like to make a motion that we approve $15,000 of additional funds to spend to install this phase one washdown system that our engineer has devised.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Mr. Marindino opposes. Motion carries. Okay. Mrs. Adams, are you ready for your report?
Okay, I'm just writing down. I asked Kimberly and Naomi if they would, oh, they probably can't.
Oh, I did have a question. Is that gonna be the same contractor, or is this gonna be another bid that you're using to do this project on this pressure,
No,
on
this
this
is-
water system?
This is gonna be the same contractor, it's gonna be a change order.
I asked Kimberly and Naomi if they would do something for me. I was just interested in how many times this civic center has been used since the first of the year. And I would just like to share with you what they gave me. There's been 4 birthday parties, 3 baby showers, 1 meet the candidate, 1 family reunion, 1 memorial, 1 wedding, 5 votings, and I have 3 that I noticed down here about the dog meeting, but I feel like maybe there was more than 3. 11 council meetings, 2 garage sales, 2 cleanups, and the fire department had 2 down here. And then the special meetings, and one was at the audit, the sewer project workshop. I've got 3, but it's audit, oh, that's it. The audit, the sewer project, and a workshop. And then there's been 1 Christmas in the park and 1 food clinic. And I was interested in how many people, had to pay. And what our income from the rental is. And $2,200 this year. That's pretty good.
That's since we went up though, remember?
Yeah, but
Before, we weren't charging hardly nothing.
that's still pretty good.
Oh, I mean, I know it's a lot better. It used to be, that wouldn't have been any money at all.
Yeah. Okay, I just thought you'd be interested in that.
Thank you very much. Okay, Michelle.
I'm gonna give everybody a quick rundown. I have to be quiet. I'm gonna give everybody a quick rundown on the Christmas in the Park. Kim and Barbara, this is their show, they're running it. Correct me if I'm missing anything, please, in my rundown. I think I've got it all. The park is going to be decorated this Saturday, the 21st at 9 a.m. We need as many able-bodied people. Yes, ma'am?
She just called and said she's changing it to 1. I gotta
To
send
1?
out a call, yeah.
Okay,
When,
it's been
what day?
moved to 1.
Missed the first time.
Saturday, the
This
21st, this
Saturday?
coming Saturday. So it's gonna be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I know there were some things in the morning, so I'm sure she adjusted it to accommodate that. So 1 p.m., we need as many able-bodied people as possible, as many hands as possible. Even if you're not able-bodied, please come help, because, you know, we need you. So, we'll be doing that at 1 p.m. on the 21st. The inside of the Civic Center will be decorated on December 11th at 9 a.m. That's a Friday, so if you are able to, I know that's going to be a more difficult time for some people, but others are available. So if you're able to come down and help that day, I know that they'll certainly need it, getting everything set up inside. 9 a.m. on December 11th, which is a Friday,
Okay,
the day before the event.
okay.
The event is on the 12th. Start time is what,
Noon.
is that noon?
That's when we're lining up for the parade.
Okay, so the parade starts at noon.
No, the parade will start, I wanna say 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So we want people to start lining up.
Okay, so lineup for the parade is at noon. None of the events or booths or anything will be open prior to that, but everything will be set up.
Yeah, last year what happened was we had it all set up and there was people over there playing and then the parade started, which the parade wasn't, but like, the refloats all the police cars and the fire trucks, and it was still awesome and made the news. So we're hoping for a few more people this year. Don't get discouraged, everything's got a build.
So, yeah, and you need to set up early about noon for the parade because they are going to judge prior to the parade this year. Santos and his wife are going to run the kitchen. Santa is coming. We got him to fit us into his schedule somehow. There's going to be games and cakewalks and music. The categories for the parade are best float, best adult costume, best kids costume, best bike, best adult motorized, and best kid motorized. So figure out what category you want to be in and come out and knock everybody's socks off. And then as far as, I know she needs volunteers for all the setup and cakes, or cupcakes, or whatever for the cakewalk. So, you might want to do some cupcakes too, because you're going to have kids who are going to do that cakewalk about 50 million times, and I would rather them get a cupcake than a whole cake every time.
We did that.
Please don't send 5 cakes home with my child.
Yeah, what we tried to do was if they had won a cake, they won a cupcake the next time.
Okay,
They did not win a cake each time.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm hoping for community development in general, that we're gonna start regular meetings in January. Tentatively looking at doing it the second Thursday of every month, and I'll speak with the mayor and some others and make sure the facility will be available and such. That way we'll have a consistent time every month. It will always be posted as an open meeting, so anybody, council or not, is welcome to attend. And that's my rundown.
Thank you very much. All right, well, we certainly appreciate all of you coming, and,
Michelle,
I'll hear a
Yes,
motion
ma'am.
to adjourn.
Jane,
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yes,
We'd
ma'am.
like to say, we need to find, a man and woman to be the elves this year. Me and Jeff Chetney will be in Venezuela at their daughter's wedding, and I'll pick up their costumes from them.
What, do we know what size their costumes are so that we can find
I think they're
appropriately
all-
sized elves?
If it's
It's a one size
Chadney's, he's
fits
about
all.
this big.
Yeah.
It's a one size fits all.
That's not true, there's no such
That's
thing
what,
as
I mean, that's what it says.
one size fits
Right,
most, or some.
and the costumes are at my office.
Oh, they are good.
Okay, so we do need a male and a female elf. I think we need to see if there are some kids who need service hours, and that should be just right up their alley, so. All right,
Your motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
Already made.
I'll second it.
We are adjourned.
I thought we was already there.
Yes.